Hello, I'm here with Kathryn Sogard, who's the Executive Director of the College Hill Partnership. And could you tell us a little bit about what the College Hill Partnership is?
Sure. It's a nonprofit organization that's the best way to explain it is it's like a mix between a neighborhood association and a business association. So about 10 years ago, two associations merged into the partnership, the College Hill Neighborhood Association and the College Hill Business Association. And we kind of work with all the constituents that are within a small district in Cedar Falls, which would be anything that's really close to campus, and then a couple past campus to the south.
Okay, and then what kind of constituents do you work with?
We work with all of the businesses on College Hill. We work with the neighborhood, and we work with all the landlords. So anyone that owns rental properties in the area, we kind of work with all of those people.
Okay, great. And then what is your role within the organization?
My role is to really kind of hone in the focus of the board and execute the goals of the board. So our main purpose is to work on beautification and revitalization of the hill. And so I work and fulfill tasks that the board decides that falls in line with our mission.
Okay, great. And then within these constituents that you work with, how would you say you handle, if there's any conflict or anything that goes on between them, how would you say that gets handled?
Oh, sure. We have a monthly board meeting or that we talk a lot about the issues that come up within. Lots of issues that come up would be like developments within our area. So sometimes we have to have long conversations. So it's not just at one board meeting, but it might be at another board meeting. Or we try to publish anything that the board decides on our website or blog so that all the constituents can see where the board sits with some of the controversial issues.
Okay, great. And like you said, it's led by a board of directors. So who is in those positions currently, and then how do they get elected?
Sure. So currently we have 11 board members. We have 2 constituents that represent businesses. We have 2 constituents that represent landlords, and 2 constituents that represent neighbors. And then we have 4 at-large board members. And then we have the NISG president that serves on our board as well. So that rounds off the 11.
How do they get elected?
Our general membership elects them at our annual meeting every April. So our board members, besides our NSG president, they serve 2-year terms. So every 2 years, new board members come up, and then the entire membership votes for the members off a slate. So they would turn in like an application.
Great. And I also read that you guys have 5 committees, so could you kind of discuss a little bit about those and how many people are in each?
Sure. Currently we don't run meetings for all of the committees. So some of our committees just meet as needed. One in particular that I can think of is our design committee that meets like that. So they only meet when the city will come to us with specific, like somebody's proposing they're going to change their house, or they're going to build a new house, or they're going to build a mixed-use property has come up in the time that I've been the executive director. And then that goes to our design committee. They evaluate it and see if it fits within the character of the district and what suggestions they might give, and then that goes back to the board. But they would only meet as needed, obviously, because those don't always come up. But we also have our marketing and promotions, or our events committee, and they meet once a month. We have probably about 5 people that participate regularly on that committee. We have a neighborhood services committee, and we have about 6 people that participate on that regularly, and they also meet every month. Our membership committee is another one that it's only an as-needed basis that we run, and then our executive team is our executive board, members. So like our president, our vice president, secretary, and treasurer meet on a semi-regular basis.
And then within each committee, how many people would you say are involved in that?
Our executive team only has 4 members, 4 or 5. Sometimes the past president will serve as a member on that team. And then anywhere from 5 or 6 people on average on the committees.
Do you get to participate in any of the committees? Or?
Yep, I'm at every committee meeting. Yep, that's part of my job.
What would you say you enjoy most about your position?
I think it's always changing, and with this position, I've only been the executive director for about a year and a half, and there was a lot of things that I didn't know about the city of Cedar Falls, even though I grew up here and I went to college here. There's a lot of things that you don't know about until you are in a position like this. So I think that's been a really cool thing that it's made me really think about I live in Waterloo, so it's really made me think about issues that come up in Waterloo that are similar to ones in Cedar Falls and how I would like to see that happen in my own neighborhood. So it's kind of given me a little bit more activism.
And then what current initiatives is the College Hill Partnership working on?
Currently we have one focus is our SMID grant. So we get SMID. A SMID grant is a self-sustaining grant that comes through the city, and the businesses on College Hill pay an additional tax to the city that comes to the partnership, and that's how our organization is funded. And so one initiative that we're working on is to renew that SMID. That'll come up in 2020, so that's something that we're focusing on. We're also focusing on a couple of remodel projects, one for Searly Park and one for Pedersen Plaza, which is it's like a little tiny pocket park that's in between the Hydrant and Jimmy John's. And so we're working on making those so that the community uses them a little more and just updating, like with Searly Park, making some updates to it so it's more utilized by the rest of the community.
And then what would you say your hopes are for this organization going forward?
I think for me personally, I would like to see a large strategic plan made from the board. We put together a strategic plan about 10 years ago when the board started, and we've kind of grown out of the phase where at that time they were doing the streetscape, so they made it more walkable down College Hill and 23rd Street, and that was kind of what our strategic plan was about, focusing on making sure that streetscape was nice and making it more walkable and making it more inviting to people, motorists and bikers and people that are walking. And I think we've kind of, not that we don't want to focus on that, but I think something that we're kind of out of that strategic plan. So I'd like to see another one done. I think that would really benefit the partnership as well as the rest of the community.
Okay, well, thank you for talking to me.
You're welcome.